And there's a principle, and I started by saying there's a fulcrum, like a seesaw. Now, love is reclaiming dominion of this planet. In other words, it's becoming more and more difficult and painful on an individual as well as a collective level. But let's talk about individual level. For any human being to live in non-accordance with God's will. So in other words, the more people resist and are willful in terms of obeying human laws, obeying natural laws, obeying God's laws, obeying the truth they know in their heart of who they are and what they're supposed to be doing. Wherever there is defiance and disobedience and willfulness, it's becoming more and more and more painful for people to exist. And that's why the suffering and the stripping and the breaking, the crumbling on an individual level, as well as business, institution, and governments is happening. It is the only and singular reason why it's happening. Suffering is a wayward humanity's incentive to surrender. So God allows the suffering, doesn't create it, but allows it because it wears down resistance. So if you look in your own life and you see a lot of suffering happening, there are parts of your life that are not in alignment with God's will, and it's your job to change that. Whether it's where you're being defiant to a parent, a spouse, a boss, defiant toward your own soul, toward yourself, something you know you need to do that you refuse to do. You know, it's like your soul will just hold your arm behind your back until you say uncle, and it'll just keep turning it up, and then things will start to break down around you because you're not in alignment. There's not an exemplification of ease, grace, and flow in your life on the physical plane that shows you that your consciousness is not in a state of peace, love, and joy. It's not in alignment. And that six-pointed star is not functioning properly. So, that has to happen. Now, expand that. It's all at the individual level. When you add all the individuals together and you reach more critical mass, where humanity is not in alignment and is still resisting these inalienable truths, the trump card, I know I shouldn't use a metaphor like that because some people don't understand the concept, but where humans refuse to engage, God has to engage on our behalf. And that happens through Mother Earth because God is an intangible for most people. But Earth is very tangible. So Earth, as God, acts on our behalf to coerce and bring about surrender. So these disasters, not only do they bring about surrender, but they bring about balance because they cleanse and they neutralize and destroy. They create balance and absolve and transmute karma. So while they are coercing surrender. So that's how it works. So the fulcrum, the centerpiece of the seesaw, the more humans, individually and collectively, choose love, choose surrender, choose obedience and subservience to God's will, the less the earth has to do on our behalf. The less humans do, the more earth has to do on our behalf. Now, do the math. Take a look at the news, even for the last month. We have more volcanoes than ever before spiking catastrophically at levels that are very rare, but the number of them simultaneously now is like never before. Earthquakes, like never before. Droughts, like never before, breaking all historical record in recorded history. Floods, the same. I mean, we're almost at the Noah's Ark level of damage happening here, you know, and that is saying something very, very loud. What it's saying is that the humanity's resistance is so high. And when I say, again, humanity, we don't point at like everybody. The number of individuals, that's what I mean by humanity. Not they all and we all. That's garbage. Don't even go there. Stop the finger pointing at companies and politicians, and it's just you. You're the only person on the planet. So you have to, everyone needs to look at themselves and see, where am I in alignment? Do I tithe 10% of my income back to the universe and honor that law? Do I never litter? Do I not waste food? Do I not speak filth? Do I not gossip, or do I? Do I treat my children well? Do I treat my employees well? Am I generous in giving, or am I selfish and miserly? Am I selfless, or am I selfish? Always about the self. It's all about the self, no others. It's all about the self, Each person has to look there for him, herself, and not we all, they all, humanity. When I use the word humanity, I mean the number of individuals who are still resisting and fighting and refusing and defying is so high that Earth is engaging at such an extraordinary level. If more individuals, and when more individuals start getting those humblings and start waving the white flag, I give up. Okay, God, I'm now listening. I'm interested in who it is I'm supposed to be, why am I here, and how do I go about becoming the most kind, loving, sharing, giving, caring person I could possibly be. And these calamities will continue, and they will intensify, and they will intensify exponentially until that happens, period. It's not because I say so. It just simply is. It's a universal principle, and I'm simply here to explain it because I understand it and know it, so I can teach it and share it. So there's not a whole lot I can do about it. Well, this is a whole lot. I'm telling it to everyone, so you can tell it to everyone and be it. But most importantly, it's to be it yourself. And then you'll see. You'll watch the magic happen. So, and I think that really covers your question. I gave you 3 different powerful categories about how you can be prepared spiritually, psychologically, and physically to handle whatever comes. So I really thank you for that question. Actually, I've had several people in the last 2-3 weeks ask me, can you please address this at Disciple Training? Can you please address this on Facebook? Can you please write about this again on your website? And I have. I mean, we have myriad audio discourses, videos on it, and written discourses. So, but I'm giving this refresher on it because the question came up in the video conference, and it's very timely, looking at what's going on right now. You know, here we are in California, where we have our driest, our biggest drought on record. And I just read in the news the other day that in the last 2 weeks, our snowpack is now at 0 in the mountain ranges here. So we have a desperate situation, which very likely could lead to our worst fire season ever, because we have no water and no snow melt. And in the same 2 weeks, Texas just got 35 trillion gallons of rain. You know, and they're experiencing some of the worst flooding they've ever had in recorded history. So, and that Texas is only like a 1 to 2 hour flight from here. It's amazing. But again, it's about balance. Each area is getting what it needs, what nature needs to deliver to achieve balance and to inculcate surrender and cooperation with the divine. And tail wagging or feet dragging, every human being will, at some point in some lifetime, come to the altar of God with his and her heart in their hands. Period. There's nothing anyone can do about that except surrender. Surrender Dorothy. Write it in the sky again.